Was good, guys? Thanks again for coming back to Tellteller by JR. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. If I'm not like super enthusiastic today, it's because this story is pretty sad, man. It's pretty sad. You gotta understand something when I do these stories. Granted, 80% of it to 95% of it comes off the top as I'm giving it to you. You got to also understand it's coming from the heart. So when the characters is going through something, I feel it. When they're excited, I'm feeling it too, so that I could bring the expression and that the joy, hopefully through a camera or through you just listening to this, you can fully understand. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel and hit that little whatever ding button that have on Rumble or YouTube, so that you can get notified when Tellteller when I post something up. All right. Also, my Instagram Tellteller is gonna be down there. Don't forget to try to go follow that. My Instagram don't have anything on it, but soon I kind of again have another artist. I don't know what's going on, but kind of have an artist. When she start giving me some stuff, I'm gonna start posting some stuff on there. Also, I'm getting into trying to see if I could, because I have so many stories. I'm trying to see if I could get like some stories into like 1 minute, because quick click or something like that. So I got a quick story in like 1 minute, 60 seconds, real quick, so I could give somebody a taste of what I do. And if they want to listen to a real story like I'm about to do now, you'll get the chance to do so. Also, guys, I'll have my Venmo and Cash App and all that information down there. Don't forget to like fucking donate whatever you can. As you can see, this microphone, I got another microphone coming, thank God. And background, got a little something setting up. Hopefully I'm sounding a lot better than my previous ones. I'm getting situated. I'm getting situated. Okay, until I could get you guys, until I could get like better stuff. And the faster I could do that is if you guys like this and you guys are like, oh yeah, I'd like to, hear some more from this motherfucker. Let me go ahead and donate $5, $2, $3, 10, 20, whatever, however much you can support to support the channel, just to help out. Just whatever. That's all it is, just to help out. It will be hella appreciated. Okay. All right. Without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and fucking get into this joint. This story name is The Beauty of Second Chances. The Beauty of Second Chances. Main character's name is Martin Nicholson. I keep fucking up their names. His name is Martin Nicholson, and he was born in Wyoming, Du Bois, and till he was like 15 years old. And he moved to Louisiana, a very high rated crime area and everything. He moved over there with one of his aunties and everything. And then his aunties caught some sort of disease, and his aunties ended up passing away. His auntie got sick and passed away. And his mom wanted him to come back, but he refused and whatnot. As time was going on down there, he ended up getting mixed in with the wrong crowds. Of course, we know how that is. He ended up joining some gang and stuff like that. So as everything started kind of going pretty much south for him, he pretty much took over the gang. He was like, they fucking fear him. He was fucking brutal, chopping people up. Sometime there's his beating. Sometime he'll set them on fire like at night in the middle of the street somewhere, and set them the fucking fire type of shit. So people was really afraid of this guy. Cops was looking for him everywhere, right? And he took over when he was 23. There was a home that he was staying in. And by that time, the communication with him and his mom pretty much was almost like fading out. He was very, very smart. Always expecting he's going to get caught. He's going to get caught. Towards his friends, though, people who is in his group, he is very loyal to them. He protects them. He's very good to them and to their families. So by the time he was 23, he managed to kill 10 cops, police officers, including some SWAT team that was with them. And his house, there was a trap, because they thought that he was, obviously they were watching the house, and they thought it was just him in the house. And a SWAT team went in with a couple other officers backing them up and everything, and a couple shooting happening. By the time they noticed that the house was pretty much had a bunch of cans of goddamn gas all over the place, it was too late. How he did it with every houses that he lives in, he rigs them a specific way that wherever he's at, like by his bed, there's like this hanger stuff. He could just like grab it, pull it, and all the gas tanks, the top would just fucking pop off. All it'll take is just a spark. Either his thing was, either I'm gonna die with them, or I'm gonna leave them to die. That was his two things. And at that time, and then when that big explosion happened when he was 23, they thought he died. Officers, everybody, they thought he died with 10 other officers. But how did they thought that he died? Well, there was an extra body in there because everybody got burnt beyond recognition, of course. And there was an extra body in there, and that extra body was in his room. And apparently, there was this gentleman he was torturing for information. And they left him tied up in there. His friends left, and he was the only one left in the house, just keeping an eye on the motherfucker. And apparently, that gentleman was an undercover cop. And they were torturing him. The moment they bust in the house, he fired a few shots just to like slow them back so that he could get stuff ready. And he put the body in the bed, still tied up, of course. And then he pulls the trigger, jumped through a window and whatnot. Flame was happening. He was gone. But now they think that he's dead. He's running things in the shadows now. So let's go ahead and move on to some more important stuff. So now, being on the underworld like that, his nickname, he had a nickname. His name, everybody was knowing him as Cutoff. And he pretty much took over in everything. So in Louisiana, as he's taking over, they started knowing him. Other gang members was know that name from other fucking states. It was getting big. And no one really knew where he was from anymore at that point. Most of his real friends pretty much died. People who really knew him died in the gang or got arrested, locked up for life, and get killed in prison and stuff. So he pretty much, and his crew, was the last one remaining, as in anybody else who know him pretty much is gone. So he met this young girl when he was about 24 years old. The girl was like 22. And so he met the girl and everything. He fell in love, but of course, a tough guy like that couldn't let people know that he's in love. But the girl knew that she was in love with him. And the girl ended up getting pregnant for him. Oh my God, bro. It was a fucking disaster. Calling her all kinds of names, you slut, this and that. It was a huge ass argument going with this chick, right? And it was it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was a badass argument. And as this argument was happening, he was accusing her of doing that on purpose and everything. First, he accused her of cheating and whatever, and then he threw it her way. If you didn't cheat, well, then you fucking did that on purpose. When he said that, she stopped and looked at him, and she's like, "Wow, you really think I'm that stupid right now? Your life, the way you're living right now, the quantity of enemies you have enemies so much that just because you spent too much time with me, You have two of your guys following me around just so something wouldn't happen to me. Cops, if they know that you are in an area, they will not even show up unless they have like a SWAT team with them. Huh? If I were to give birth to a child for you right now, or get pregnant for you, I would put that same target in my child's back. I would never want that for anyone's children. And she stormed off. Of course, he's trying to play it off. Yeah, whatever, you stupid bitch. This and that. All right, cool. So now, some more time passed. 9 months later, she's giving birth. They pretty much, of course, stopped talking. 9 months later, she's giving birth and everything. And of course, like I said, he was in love with her, whatever. He was keeping an eye on her. Keeping an eye on her, had some people follow her for the whole 9 months still, but very discreetly, she wouldn't even notice. And in her mind, she thought that he really, really didn't give a fuck no more. That was it. He wasn't really trying to like pay attention to her like that anymore whatsoever. So finally, when she's giving birth or whatever, hours later, one of the guys came back who was watching, is like, hey man, I don't know what's going on, but I think she's having some problems. And I try to listen in kind of. So I got try to listen in or whatever. And by the listen in, he means like, cause he has a girl that works at the hospital over there that's a nurse. And he's like, the girl that I'm fucking with, she kind of said that, from how the doctors are talking, she might not survive. And she has some sort of internal bleeding and they can't stop it. They're going to try to operate, but it's bad, So he's like, fuck that, trying to play it off some more. Fuck that bitch, whatever. He's like, all right, cool. He's by himself. He dipped and went to the hospital. In his mind, he actually was going there to kill her. Because in his mind, he's like, even though everybody know me as Cutoff, they don't really know my real name. I don't have ID whatsoever for them to try to find out like all my bad or everything of him is fake. She's the only one who know his real name. And if she survived, she might try to put him on child support. And that's going to be he doesn't care for the child support part, but she know his real name. They'll slap his ass on them. They'll slap him on the most wanted list. FBI. Oh my, it will be even more worse coming after him because he killed 10 fucking cops. You don't walk away from that. So now he's coming into the hospital to fucking end that shit, right? And when he got there, he looked at her. She saw him through the glass. And she mouth whispered something to him. He mouthed something to him. He looks at her, mouthing whatever the fuck she was saying. He couldn't tell. And he's like all confused. And then she smiled and she passed away. Pretty much flatline. A bunch of doctors run in. You know the drill. You see movies. She's gone. He was still standing there. They're calling the time, whatever. He's like, all right. He walked off. And then there was a nurse that was coming out with the child because the nurse wasn't aware that happened. And she's like, oh, are you the father? And he looked at her like, what the fuck? So And she didn't even wait, no hesitation, just fucking shoved the baby on him and whatnot. And he grabbed the child and looked at the child. The moment he looked at that child, it's like, I'm sure you had it before when somebody opened a fan on you. Some invisible air just slapped him in his face. And that air was nothing but straight memory and love that he had for his little sister. He was 7 years old when he grabbed his little sister, really, really tiny little thing, light little being that he was looking at. And 8 months later, his little sister passed away. He blamed himself because he couldn't protect his little sister. In reality, it wasn't him. His little sister was just born with a heart condition. There was nothing anybody could do. But he, deep inside, as a kid, in his mind, he couldn't protect his little sister. That child looked just like his little sister. Like, they could be twins. He had doubt that the child wasn't his, but the doubts was about 5-6%. Now he knew 100% that was his child. And he needed to protect this little tiny precious being. And he's looking at her. That little baby opened her eyes and looked at him and just smiled. I mean, that happens, but really hardly ever. And it's just playing around. He knew he needed to protect this little being. Another realization that comes through is what his wife said. He knows the life that he's living, there's no possible way he can protect this little thing. With his life, how much people need him, wants him, and needs him dead or hurt in any kind of way, or have an opening so they could get their chance to kill his ass. Matter of fact, even cops, if cops themselves found out he had that child, some cops would actually tell his enemies where that child is, just so they could get revenge on him somehow, on some sort of way. He pretty much sat down. In his mind, he pretty much almost dropped on his knees. Immediately picked up his phone, one of his burner phones, of course, he had multiple, called his mom and explained everything to his mother. And told his mother, you need to come get her and give him 4 months and he's going to be over there. 4 to 5 months, he's going to be over there and he will change his life around. He begged, he just needs 4 months. His mom didn't question anything. His mom said, son, I already bought the ticket. I'm on my way right now. As you were talking, I already purchased a ticket. I'll be there soon. Leave the child at the hospital. Pretend like you don't know the child. And I'll be there. Give him my name. But son, before you go, there's one thing you know you have to do. And that one, I cannot help you with it. You know you're a father. You know this is your child. And obviously, you know what you have to do. The last but not least, before you walk off, you need to give that child a name. That will be your responsibility. I'm sure the child don't have a name yet. You said the mom died. Give the child a name. Now, guys, a little background on the mom. The mom's name is Kira Kuzmine, and she was born and raised in Russia till she was 16. and then she moved to Louisiana. She moved to Louisiana. So, and then met Martin at 22, give birth at 24, and died at that hospital table. The father was looking at the child and wanted the kid to know at least a remembrance of the mom, because he knew she was a really really good woman. So she called her Kira, just like her mom. So after giving her that name, and he gave him his last name, Nicholson, Kira Nicholson. At first, in his mind, he was thinking of giving the daughter the full name of the mom, Kira Kuzmine Nicholson, but he's like, that might be a little too long. So he just stick with Kira. And pretty much give the nurse the baby and stuff like that. And of course, they took the baby to go do what they were supposed to, and he left. Before he left, he went up front, give the hospital the mom's name, blah blah, this and that, and he's coming and whatnot, and he left. And when the mom came, mom picked up the baby, did whatever, got all the information that they were supposed to, and they sent the baby back to not sent, I mean the mom went with the baby back to Wyoming. 4 months later, that motherfucker save up some money and everything, pretty much fake his own death down there in Louisiana, and went back to Wyoming, purchased a little land somewhere in Wyoming, Laramie, and a small property like on the outskirts, to have a little backyard and all that good stuff, and raised his daughter. He spent 7 years there, and at that point he's 34 years old, and decided, you know what? They never left the state. Well, he leaves the state a couple times, but when he's leaving, he always leaves his daughter with his mom. Have his mom either come over, or he'll go over there to his mom and drop the kid. This time he decided, let's go somewhere with his daughter. Go to Miami, make some memory. It's been a minute, So he went to Miami with the little girl. They were having a beautiful time in Miami. Went to the beach and everything and all that good stuff. And they were in a parking lot and whatnot. And there's those car stoppers. It was like a car stopper there. Little girl was just supposed up right there and whatnot in the parking lot. And all of a sudden, this fucking car just came out of fucking nowhere, jumped over some like the railing, the parking, the railings and everything, and went straight for his daughter. And he was too far. He was not that far. He was about 30, 40 feet away. He didn't make it in time to his daughter. But the car stopper that's usually in front of any kind of like stores, or sometimes restaurants, stores, to, so people wouldn't drive their car inside the fucking restaurant, or banks. The car stopper stopped the car, so the girl didn't get hit directly, but they're not sure. He wasn't sure what would hit her. And he charged over to grab her child. He didn't make it in time. And the child was in the ground. Her head was bleeding. And as he picked up his little girl, his 7-year-old girl, he's in his knees, both knees, just looking up. It's like he's in this pit. He had people surrounding him, and he's asking for help. No one can do anything. Of course, people already called the ambulance and everything. And at that moment, as he's looking at his daughter, the breath of his daughter slowing down more and more, the less breath his daughter takes, the more his heart just goes deeper and deeper. And at that moment, something flashes in his mind. Kira at the hospital. It's going to be confusing. Kira's mother at the hospital. When he mouthed something to him, it's like at that moment in his mind, he can read lips all of a sudden, and he can see exactly what she said to him. Protect our daughter, Nicholson. And he looks back down at his daughter once again as her little breath keeps going smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's running to his mind where he fell to protect his own little girl. Ambulance came, pushed him to the side. They're doing their thing. They're working their magic. Shoved her in the ambulance. Went. 2-3 days later, it took, I'm jumping ahead. 2-3 days later, he's by the bed. Now he's a little calmer. She's in a coma. The girl's in a coma, hooked up to a bunch of stuff and everything. And there's like a thing coming out of her head because her brain keep creating like fluid in her brain, and they have to keep draining it, and that's what's kind of keeping her alive. She's in a coma, and as he's running the thought, he keeps running it in his mind. How can he didn't make it in time? The girl was close. She was right there. He didn't make it in time. He fell. And then they came to him and they said, were telling to him how his daughter survived and what was going on and everything. The police report, they said that the car was someone was trying to steal the car. And the owner was trying to fight him off, and the car went off cliff and hit him. And as he's running it in his mind, he's like, fuck. You remember, he was beefing back then quite a bit with a gang in Miami. And that gang is thriving in Miami at that moment. Thriving at that moment in Miami. It was a hit. They targeted him. And he knew it. He's like, fuck that. It wasn't. And surprisingly, they couldn't find the person who tried to steal the car. In the beach, in broad daylight, shit ton of people, cameras everywhere. You telling me you couldn't find him? There is no trace of that person? Really? Not even fingerprint in the car? Seriously. It was a hit. Now he's hitting the street. Now he's hitting the streets. But nothing's coming through. Remember, hospital's not cheap. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Time is passing. How much time? A month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. A year passed. He sold his house, sold the property, sold the house, sold everything he has. trying to keep his baby girl alive. She's 8 now. A year and 2 months later, he got a phone call from one of his old buddies. Did whatever the fuck he could in the streets for him. They found the motherfucker. Found where he lives. They know everything. We gonna get this nigga. All right, let's go. Jumped in his car, went to Miami. They got, of course, he had to cough up some money for, everything costs money. He had to cough up some money for that information. They got the motherfucker. In this abandoned building somewhere, brought the motherfucker over. He had they put a thing on his head. He removed it. As he was driving there, he knew he had like 2 machetes. Sharp. He's gonna cut this nigga into pieces until he tells him who the fuck sent him after him. And then afterward, he's gonna find out who the fuck this person's mom is and send them over to their family in pieces. He planned it out completely in his mind of how everything's gonna go, how he's gonna chop this nigga up. Oh, this motherfucker, this kid's about to get chopped the fuck up for real, for real. 34 years old. Back in this shit. When he removed it, it's a literal kid. It's a kid. It's a fucking kid. He's like, how old are you? And he screamed it. How fucking old are you, kid? 15. I'll turn 16 in 4 months. He's like, you know you about to die, right, kid? Man, the kid started crying, saying he's sorry on all kinds of things. He's like, yeah, my daughter's in the fucking hospital. In a coma for a whole year now. They're not even sure when the fuck she's gonna wake up. I'm gonna chop you up and send you to your mom in pieces. Get in the car. They put him in the car. Show me where you live. Took a drive to his mom's house. That way you live. Parked across the street, kind of like a block away, like before. And mom kind of came out, watering some weird tree thing she had in the front lawn. She's taking care of it. Whatever. Is that your mom? Yeah, that's my mom. He put out his phone, took a couple pictures, and turned around and looked at him and took a clean picture of his face. He's like, you have an ID on you. Yeah. Grab his ID, took a picture of that too. He's like, kid, it means what? You were 14 when you stole that car, right? When you did that to my daughter. It's like, yeah. And you 15 and now you're about to die, right? He's like, yeah. Crying, bawling. You see that feeling that you have right now? He said to him, remember that feeling, okay? This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you. I'm going to tell you right now what I want you to do. I know your name, full name. I know your address. I know where your mom live. When I leave here, I'm going to research your entire family. I'm going to know where every family of yours is. When you leave this car right now, he's surprised. He's shocked. You're not gonna give your mom any kind of trouble whatsoever. You're gonna go to school and finish on top of your class. And you're gonna get a full scholarship. That is the payment that I want for what you did to my daughter. That is the payment. I'm not accepting anything below that. I'm not gonna kill you. You see your mom over there? I'm gonna keep this blade sharp for her. One day you'll just come home and she's chopped the fuck up the pieces. And that is the promise that I give you. It is my word. I will chop your mom up to pieces. I'll let you live so you can feel how I'm feeling right now. Every day when my daughter just twitch her fingertip thinking she's going to wake up. Every day, so you can know that feeling that you did that to me. I'm going to do it to you too somehow. Your mom died because of what you did. Get the fuck out of my car. Kicked his ass out and left. At the hospital, time keep passing. Time keep passing. Now, 3 years pass. 3 years and like 2 months. Remember, hospitals cost money. Keeping somebody in a coma for that long is draining him every time, everything he had. He's working as much as he can, finding side jobs. He kind of got in a drug business, delivering drugs for kind of, cokes, wherever. But he kind of can't because it's dangerous. If they take him away, his daughter got nobody. If he get caught, it's over. And he only need to get caught one time. A year and 3 months. There was a battle because he couldn't pay. Bills was stacking up. They were about to unplug his daughter. He's fighting. Security came trying to hold him back. They were about to unplug his daughter. Some dude will come up. What the fuck? What's going on? Pushing back and everything. Square up with everybody. Like, what's good? What's going on? Why you trying to unplug this little girl? This and that, That his father's like, thank you. Ran inside, Leave my daughter alone. I'll pay you. And then he said, chill. Fine. If it's bill, I'll pay his bill. I'll pay his bill for him. I got money. If it's fucking money you want, just let me know how much and I'll pay it. They're like, really? $500,000. Do you have that, sir? He's like, yes, I do. Okay. I'll pay right now. Leave him. I'll pay everything and more right now. You sure? Yes, right now. They're like, okay, cool. They, took the dude, random guy. They took him in the back and everything. He signed papers and everything, signed whatever the fuck he needed to sign. And some dude came by the door. Mr. Morton Nicholson. This gentleman just paid everything for you. In actuality, paid a little bit more. So you are good in this for about an extra year here if your daughter needs it. So you're pretty much good. And also too, by the way, by this time, she's doing, the little girl's doing fairly well. The little girl's 11 years old now. And she's doing pretty well, actually. Like, when I mean doing well, physically, everything's fine. It's just mentally, they don't know what's going on. It's just, I don't know how comas work, but yeah. So let's backtrack real quick. Really what happened is the pole that she was standing neck behind to, thank God, because if that car would have hit her directly, 100% she'd be dead. But when the car hit the pole was sturdy enough to stop the car. But half of the bumper came off. And remember, bumpers is very, if you don't know how a car bumper is, I need to grab something here to kind of show you guys. Like, hold on. Perfect example. A bumper, believe it or not, it's kind of like this. It's very flexible, you know. So when the car hit, the side of the bumper came off and pretty much smacked the shit out of a little girl in her head. So yeah, regardless of front bumper, like a 7-year-old girl in the side of the kid's head, of course. So that's what's going on. So she has no more bleeding fluid coming out of her brain anymore. Everything's fine. She's pretty much fully healed at this point. It's just she needs to be feed through a tube and all of those things and everything. That's pretty much how the girl is at that point. She's good physically. It's just mentally she needs to fight somehow and wake up. Now back to present. Now this gentleman, Martin, is thankful, dropped down to his knees and saying thank you, and thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are. I'll repay you, saying thank you and thank you. And of course, don't forget, he used to be a shitty human being. In his mind, he's been beating himself up. He's assuming that is his punishment and everything. And he asked him, what is your name? He's like, Martin, I know you might not remember me, but I'm Joshua, the man who hit your daughter. And to be honest with you, I just won the lotto. I won the lotto yesterday, and I came today to give you half the winnings. And half the winning is 300 point something million. He's like, I'm not sure exactly how much that equates to, but I won about 1.4 bill. Uncle Sam tax took about 400 bills, so I'm left with about 600 something bill. So to be honest, fuck that. I wanted to give you even a little bit more than half. I'm okay with 200 bill. You can take a whole 500 mil from, sorry, I keep saying billion, 500 million from what I have. 200 million is far enough for me. Because of you, I actually graduated high school at 17 years old, and I was in college, full scholarship at 17. And trust me, I was hustling because the threats that you made to me scared me super, super straight. And fully, to be honest, I am so set up. I'm an engineer, and I'm developing some things right now that will be making me millions regardless. So 200 million to get me started to what I need to personally make more millions for myself. I am good. You need this money way more than I do. He's like, wow, thank you very much, Joshua. Thank you. Joshua was explaining to him, he knew after he graduated high school, when he was in college, and when he won that lotto, he knew it hit him that you was never aiming to hurt his mother, ever. Even if he didn't succeed, even if he didn't graduate high school as he did, even if he didn't get that scholarship, you never fully intended to harm his family. He's like, no, to be honest with you, the phone that I took all these pictures and everything on, I sold it a couple years ago, actually, so I could pay for some of the stuff for my daughter. And I don't even, he's like, yes, I know, but you're good now. He thanks him very much and everything. They went out, grabbed some food because he's know his daughter's perfectly good now. Grabbed some food and chat for a little bit and everything. Everything was good. They went their separate ways. 3 days later, Kira woke up. 3 fucking days later, the little girl woke up. Happy as he can be. 2 days later, flew back, bought himself a really, really nicer home, Of course, guys, remember, everything's still fake. His IDs, his every all information about him is still fake. It's fuck. Remember, he's still in hiding. Took his daughter home. Really, really happy. And that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this amazing story. If you liked it, guys, come on. If you make it this far, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know what you think. Comment down below of your opinions and your thoughts. I really, really want to hear them. Okay, guys? You guys have a good one. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. You were listening to Teller by JR. Tell your friends, tell family member, whomever, all right? And I got more stories coming next week. Okay, you guys have a good one.